Hello, everyone. Back with part 9 of my recent watches. I should have checked. I literally just checked on YouTube, see how long ago it was. It was 12 days. I did the last one. Somehow didn't actually clock um, what part it was. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the last part was 8. Obviously, when I do the title, I'll put the right title, probably. Um, yeah, if anybody thinks like a fly is pitched on my head, it's not. It's where I've cut my head open at work and it's now stopped bleeding, but it's got like a horrible scab on it. So please try to ignore that. I was gonna wear my hat to hide it, but I think the hat would just make it sore and probably bleed again. I don't want blood trickling down my face on the video. Right, I'll get on with it. So I've watched 2, 4, so only 7 in 12 days. Um, but obviously, if you've seen my recent videos, move a little bit so I'm centralised. Sorry. Yeah, so obviously I've been to Birmingham over the weekend, sort of Saturday. Didn't watch any. Sunday, I think I started watching one when I got home and was really tired as I didn't sleep too well in the hotel. Whatever you call it, was it a Holiday Inn, Travel Lodge? I don't even know where it was. I slept. Um, And then, yeah, I watched a few of the last days, but I have been busy sort of working and doing other things. So, yeah, not too many. Still like a film every 1.8 days or something, it works out. I'm not a mathematician, but right. So the first one I watched was Marabito. I think that's how you say it. It could be Marabito. I'm not. What is it, Japanese? Yes, I don't really speak Japanese. Or some of the directors, I think I pronounce their names correctly nowadays, hopefully. But yeah, never heard anyone else say this. So I'm going with Marabito because that sounds more Japanese than Marabito. For the director of The Grudge, should have his name on the side, Takashi Shimizu. I personally prefer this to The Grudge. So anybody that watched the live stream recently on Ollie's channel, Ollie Loves Film, with the Loons and some guests, I did sort of show 3 of these when we were talking about what we've watched recently. So yeah, I did speak about it briefly. Um, try and keep this video short, so I won't read the back of each one. I'll just give you like a little synopsis and what I thought of it. So yeah, this is one of my favourites from the Tartan Asia Extreme label. I think this is probably the 3rd or more time I've watched it now. Coincidentally, when I first watched it, didn't know it was going to be about it. Obviously, I was just kind of buying them all because I was collecting them, so it wasn't like I was even. Obviously, I bought the ones that interested me first, but yeah, it wasn't like I was sort of seeking it out. Just through happenstance, I was at the time, I say researching, interested in. Some people call it Agartha, some people call it Lemuria, but some people believe in a legend of like an inner Earth. Some people think there's like a sun inside the inner Earth. Some people think it's just like a dark. It's probably just a cave someone went to and got a bit overexcited about it. But yeah, there's creatures in there that they say called the Deros and the Teros. And the Deros is short for detrimental robots. And they're like a subhuman race, a bit like the Morlocks from Time Machine that kind of live under the ground. So yeah, didn't know this was going to be anything attached to that. So quite surprised when I did start watching it the first time, probably 12 years ago or so, definitely more than 10 years. And a guy basically goes into like the underworld caves, whatever you call them. Thinking here, yeah, they call it Agartha. Loads of weird creatures and things in there. Really creepy, sort of surreal place. Then he finds like I think she's naked, woman chained up, just sort of on a ledge, and he sort of visits her, and then eventually tries to rescue her and takes her home. Sort of feeding her and giving her water. She won't take any of it. She's getting more and more ill. There's some subplots aside of that, some really sort of surreal but also quite messed up, disturbing gore and things that happen. Let me just quickly read on the back. No, I don't want to spoil it's a certain kind of subgenre once you get near the end, but that's part of the sort of reveal, so I won't go into it. But yeah, it's basically the story. He takes her home. Um, Kind of sounds bad, but kind of keeps her as a pet. And then, yeah, she's dying and getting ill because he can't feed her or water her anything, and she won't have any sort of human food. And then he sort of starts to try to research, and then he gets phone calls from someone saying, if you've got this girl, then you're not going to be able to look after her, bring her back, kind of thing. And it spirals from there. But yeah, one of the better ones from Tartan Asia Extreme, and I do prefer it to The Grudge, which is Sure, he's done other films, but yeah, probably his most famous film, Takashi Shimizu. It's the year 2004, 92 minutes, 18, containing strong bloody horror. Next one, again, this is one I did show on the stream. I think I was pronouncing it Demonia. I think John from Mondo Celovec said it's Demonia, I think he said. Yeah, so it's one of Fulci's later films. Actually see a date on it. Say there about the end of the 1980s. I think it's early 90s, like 91, not 100%. Never good at finding dates on these things, or release dates, should I say. But yeah, this doesn't really have to say. I won't open it all up. It's like the collector's edition that folds out into like a big kind of cross. I think I got this in the Arrow sale, literally about £12 or so. And the next day I seen it on this shelf in CEX, absolutely battered, and they wanted 20 or so for it. Might not have picked it up if it wasn't super cheap, but obviously I'm a big fan of Lucio Fulci. Trying to get all of his stuff, so at that price I thought I'd give it a go. Yeah, it's not as up there with like Zombie Flesh Eaters, The Beyond, Don't Torture a Duckling. Probably not really quite with City of the Living Dead or House by the Cemetery. But I did think it was probably, yeah, maybe on a par with the New York Ripper. Thought it was better than Manhattan Baby though, so yeah, not the worst one I'd seen. It kind of gets quite maligned, but it's kind of what you'd expect from Fulci. Surreal, doesn't make that much sense. I don't know whether it's the way it's sort of been interpreted into English. I think I watched the subtitle version rather than the dubbing. Really gory, some really memorable scenes of gore. Yeah, very surreal and dreamlike. A bit like The Beyond, but not as good. But yeah, it's like a kind of possession sort of film. I think it's like set in, yeah, I mean, I thought it was a church, but it's in a Sicilian monastery. Yeah, if you're into your horror and stuff, it's entertaining enough. Yeah, not his best one, but watchable for me. And yeah, someone that's trying to collect them all and see them all. I enjoyed it. It's kind of average, but I liked it. Next, this one I was quite surprised with, Trancers. Hopefully this ain't getting too much glare. It's really sunny in England today. Yeah, I'd sort of seen this one around years ago, and sort of I think I seen it on DVD in shops and didn't really know what it was. It's got Tim Thomerson in it from Near Dark. It's got Helen Hunt. See if I can find her on here. I think she went on to win an Oscar or be nominated for an Oscar after this. Michael Stefani, Art Lafleur, Biff Manard, Richard Erdman, and I guess it's pronounced Thelma. It's got no H, but Thelma Hopkins. Directed by Charles Band, who isn't my favourite director. He can be hit and miss, but I quite enjoyed this. Probably the best film I've seen by him. Preferred this to like The Puppet Master and some of the sort of silly ones he's done. Comes with like a nice booklet and a case, which I've got the like reversible artwork. I think that's like the artwork off of the old VHS on there. Yeah, it's a low budget B movie, kind of a bit cheesy as dialogue and things, but delivered in a good way. But yeah, I found it funny. There's quite a few laugh out loud bits. What are they calling it here? Like a neo noir? Can't actually see it on the back, but yeah, it kind of feels a bit like a lower. The style and things of it, the substance is a bit like the sort of B movie version of Blade Runner. Obviously not on the level of Blade Runner, but had a lot of the same kind of color palette, and it's all sort of neon lit up at night. Had a really good electro soundtrack. Oh yeah, it says here Academy Award winner Helen Hunt. Yeah, some really laugh out loud bits. They're sort of hopping through time. It's only 76 minutes, so not too long. Yeah, it went along at a good pace, was entertaining. Infrequent, strong language, moderate violence, horror, discrimination. It's a 12. 1984. Yeah, it's quite a fun one. Yeah, I kind of thought it had not the sort of element of Scanners where they're exploding people's heads. Spoiler alert, I'm sure everybody's seen Scanners. But similar kind of grounded, set on Earth kind of sci-fi. But yeah, with Blade Runner, I mean, I don't dislike Scanners. Obviously, I got like the second sight 4K of it. I do enjoy it. But yeah, maybe, I'm not saying it's a better made film than Scanners, but probably found it more fun to watch than Scanners. And yeah, I know John said on the stream, it's kind of, yeah, similar to Blade Runner. Obviously, don't expect it to be as good as Blade Runner, an absolute sci-fi masterpiece, and in my top 15, maybe even top 10 films of all time. But yeah, fun one and worth a watch if people are sort of wondering about picking it up. Next one I have seen before, probably seen it at least 3 times. seen it not long after it came out with my mates, and a few of them weren't into, I say, horror genre films, so they found it quite scary. It's got one of the best jump scares. I'll talk about that when I get to it. But yeah, previously only had it on DVD. Enjoyed it on DVD, but obviously this is an upgrade. The 4K of Signs by M. Night Shyamalan. There's probably not going to tell me, is it, on this kind of case. Doesn't have much information, I find, on these. So it is a steelbook. Like I said before, I'm not the biggest steelbook collector, but I will grab them if they're the same price. So it was usually $34.99. When we was in Birmingham, I didn't see it in HMV when I bought this. They only had this version in Bristol. But when we was in HMV, I think it was the Volks in Birmingham, I think Stuart pointed it out, and it was $24.99 for like the standard 4K. So yeah, for the steelbook at the same price, tenner off reduced, I would never have paid $34.99 for it. $24.99, yeah, not only was I happy to get it, but yeah, obviously at the time it was really only this version available. But yeah, it looks amazing in 4K. Really good film, probably my third favourite M. Night Shyamalan after Unbreakable, then The Sixth Sense, and this. I'd have to watch Sixth Sense again. I haven't seen it in about 8 years, and it was on DVD, so I do want to get that one next on 4K. This might have even surpassed it, because, you know, I used to always say Sixth Sense was my favourite, and Unbreakable has gone up and above it into the top place. Yeah, really good acting by Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix. What's the young boy? I think it's Rory Culkin. I'm guessing he's like a brother or sibling of Macaulay. Really good in it. What's the girl's name? Obviously, it doesn't tell me any of the information. Oh, it might on this little bit, actually. I don't keep it on there, but I have got the little cardboard backing bit. I don't like to throw it in the bin, but I don't like to keep it on the film. I think she's in Breslin. No, it still doesn't. Oh, yeah, Abigail Breslin. I think she's now grown up to be quite a good actress. But yeah, does it tell me a year now on this? No, I still can't find one. Sorry about that. Yeah, obviously, I won't say too much in case people haven't seen it, but I guess it's not a spoiler to say it's a alien film, but a bit more subtle. Basically, a family. Mel Gibson, one of his most nuanced roles, I think, plays a priest. But he's lost his faith after his wife's died, and he's no longer a priest. And they live on this kind of big farm with a load of crop fields. I think it's cornfields. And his brother's Joaquin Phoenix, that used to be like an all-star baseball player. And then, yeah, they've got the two young children. And then basically signs start appearing in crop circles all around the world. And then I won't sort of go into it too much, whether the aliens invade or what happens, as that's part of the interest. But yeah, there's a jump scare. Again, I won't say too much. Sure, everybody's seen this, but shows footage on the news from, I think it's Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And these kids are looking down an alleyway, and then something comes across the alleyway, and yeah, that really made me jump. Bit when he's out in the cornfield, yeah, there's a lot of tension in this, a lot of really good, not just character building, but relations. So the way Mel Gibson sort of is with his two children, with his brother, yeah, one of my favourite roles by Mel Gibson. He's good in everything, to be fair, but in this, yeah, he's got some really emotional scenes, some really good dialogue. The way it's sort of set up, again, without spoiling it, when certain things come on the news, just put myself in that situation and be like, yeah, imagine if they started saying on the news, this is happening, it'd be like world pandemonia kind of thing. Yeah, one of my favourite roles by Joaquin Phoenix, quite young in this. Oh, what's his name? It's a bit when they basically say his name. What's it? They used to say something, swing, go ahead, swing away. I'm having a mental block on his name. I don't think it tells me on the back, but sure, everybody knows Signs, but yeah, looked brilliant on 4K. Kind of enjoy this more of each viewing. But yeah, since obviously I last seen it on DVD, a very good upgrade because I've never seen it on Blu-ray. Next, we've got one I picked up in CEX in Birmingham, Clockwork Mice. I'd not really heard of this, and when I started looking on the like the app for CEX in Birmingham and seeing what they had, seeing this one £8, and it's quite a rare one to pick up. So I was hoping when I got there it wouldn't be a cover reprint. Yeah, it's kind of a who's who of British, I'd say more TV stars. I mean, it does missell it a bit, saying it's got Nigel Planer. He literally only has 5 minutes screen time. The word altogether, if that. I don't know if you can see him, but this guy, I think it's Ian Hart in the middle. I'm pretty sure he went on to play in Harry Potter. I think it's like Professor Quirrell, and he's got like a face on the back of his head. Yeah, he played Professor Quirrell in that. It's got, can I see her name? I think it's Claire Skinner. She's good in this, but she was also the mum in Outnumbered, which is a genius show in my opinion. It's got John Alderton, Claire Skinner, Nigel Planer, James Bolam. Yeah, but without sort of going into it too much, basically a school kind of had a bit of a feel of, if anyone remembers the TV show Waterloo Road, or obviously better done than that. It did have a bit of a TV feel to some of it, really well made. But yeah, the only sort of negative I would say is that some of the kids that are naughty, they're like London kids, and when they're like, oh you twat to the teacher, and the teachers are just, they tell them off, but they're just taking it. I was like, in my school, if you said a few things like that or threw chairs at the teacher, you'd be like suspended once or twice, then you'd be expelled, whereas they just seem to put up with it. But yeah, you're just, nearly every character you see in it, it's like, want you out of so-and-so, want you out of Dinner Ladies, and even the people that have only got like a B part where you'll just see them in one lesson, that, yeah, it's all just familiar faces from British TV, directed by Vadim Jean, I'm not sure, I did say before, I don't know if he's French. 99 minutes, 15. It's kind of a really heartwarming tale, but the reason it's a 15 is because of all the language and things, and there is some fighting and violence. But yeah, basically, all the kids are bad. There's this one kid who's kind of the cool kid everyone looks up to, so they do what he does. Ian Hart, I think he's called, character, manages to sort of reach him, and not many teachers can. He kind of plays a bit of a younger, kind of cooler teacher, gets through to him, and then he finds out he's really good at running, so he starts training him to like run properly. That's kind of why it's called Clockwork Mice, because you kind of wind him up and he just runs, and the teacher races him, and then yeah, it's quite a heartwarming story. But yeah, if you're into your British films, Ollie and Sammy, I imagine, would appreciate this. Yeah, I was quite impressed with that one. Next, I did say in the when I showed my 2-second sight pickups of The Coffee Table and The House of the Devil, that I'd watched this one with my mate, The Poseidon Adventure. Not usually his thing, but I kind of forced him to watch it, and not only did he enjoy it, but yeah, he said it was his favourite tragedy, I was going to say, disaster film, which, like I said on the other one, he hasn't seen many. Yeah, I heard good things about it, but yeah, it's really surprised not just how good it is. Special effects really good. It does say here it's been nominated for Best Visual Effects. But yeah, just really good sort of dynamics. Some Gene Hackman, brilliant in it. There's some speeches he gives are really like rousing, kind of powerful speeches. Whole cast is good. There's, even though it's a PG, there's a few sort of scenes where you sort of see a guy like burned in the engine room, quite sort of graphic, see his face. Lots of what do you call it? Peril, scenes of peril. But yeah, basically a tidal wave comes, sort of flips the ship upside down. They're all on the bows and they have to sort of go up through the ship to be saved. And there's like a group, and there's a lot of dynamics and relationships within the group. My favourite bit is when they have to dive under the water, and they sort of set up a rope, and they're going along holding the rope, and then they come up at the other side. Without spoiling it, something happens to a character, and they have to go back to get the rest of them, and let's just say the husband of the character doesn't know what's gone on, and when they go under the water and come up at the other side, yeah, that was quite emotional, powerful. Directed by Ronald Neame. It's from 1972. But yeah, I was really impressed with it. Obviously, I heard good things. Roy and Stewart had both said it was a classic and one of their favourite misadventure films, you call it. Disaster films. But yeah, it was really enjoyable. Good acting all round, good cast. I guess it went to a higher budget in 1972, but the inners of the ship, and when Gene Hackman's like hanging on to the, what do you call it, like the metal thing you turn, like a wheel to open the door, and he's sort of slowly turning it, really like riveting scene. Yeah, it just looks so good. A lot of the bits when, you know, they're swimming underwater and there's fire all over it, and then they're having to climb over like girders and up like broken ladders. But yeah, I was impressed by that. I try and remember to do my favourite watches of the week, because I always say I will and forget that. And then the last one I watched yesterday, or was it last night? FX. So they still have FX1 and FX2. I think part 2 is called The Grand Illusion, but I watched FX1. Seen it around a lot, especially as a kid, on DVD and things. And then I think 101, I've got like a double set with these. Although this is more inspiring artwork, but also, yeah, more beautiful kind of artwork on the set. Same kind of artwork inside. Yeah, I picked this one up in Birmingham in the vault. I think it's £25. It is just on Blu-ray. 109 minutes, but didn't feel that long. Yeah, as a kid, I always assumed this would be a horror film, or like a sci-fi with horror elements, but it actually really is like a sci-fi action without too much horror in it. First part's directed by Robert Mandel, starring Brian Brown, Brian Dennehy, Diane Venora, Clifty Young, music by Bill Conti, written by Robert T. Megginson and Gregory Fleeman. Tell me a year of the original, 1986. So yeah, it is an 80. So I probably did see this around on VHS in the video shop when I was a kid. Yeah, looking forward to watching part 2. I know Ash from Popcorn and Horror said he has fun with these ones. It might be nostalgia. I said, well, I've never watched it, Ash, so I'll go in with no nostalgia and see what it's like. And yeah, I did enjoy it. It is a kind of a B movie, but they do well with the budget. And yeah, it don't feel cheap and I would say schlocky, but yeah, it's not really a horror, but good special effects as you would imagine. But yeah, it's a bit more down to earth. I thought it'd be outlandish and all kind of effects and monsters, and he's creating like clowns out of his hat. Whereas no, it's a bit more grounded and a bit more of like I wouldn't say a drama, but yeah, a bit more like a sci-fi. But then they kind of add in the effects parts rather than the effects being the main part of the film. So yeah, looking forward to seeing part 2, which I think might be a bit more sort of outlandish and wild. But yeah, it's everything I watched. So I won't rank them all, but I'd say top 3 watches. Yeah, Marabito, Signs, and the Poseidon Adventure. Although obviously Marabito and Signs I have seen before. This one I knew was one of my favourite Titan Age Extremes before going in. Signs, obviously I've watched it, yeah, I'd say more than 3, maybe 5 times, but really good to see it on 4K. Really enjoyed it the other night. Had some real tense, creepy scenes, really wrapped up in the story. But yeah, being as I've seen those 2 before, I'd probably have to say my sort of most impressive watch of the week is the Poseidon Adventure. Gene Hackman, Ernest Borgnine, Red Buttons, Carol Lindley, Roddy McDowall, Stella Stevens, and Shelley Winters. Yeah, so enjoyed all of those. So yeah, I guess I'll be back. Well, I'm going shopping next week to get a few more things once I get paid again, as I spent a lot. So I'll probably do a pickups then. Going with Ollie, so I go into some charity shops, and then probably go into like CEX and HMV in one of our local cities. And then I'll be back again with recent watches, maybe in a week, maybe a bit longer, depending on how many I get to watch. Right, 23 minutes, so I haven't done too bad and waffled on too long. Thank you everybody for watching, bye.